All right, good morning everybody. It's Friday, February 6th. We're gonna start our video in the backyard today. Kind of overcast already, still cold. Chance of light snow this afternoon. Boy, I'm so depressed with this weather. I don't know how this video is gonna turn out, but I'm so depressed with this winter so far and how extremely cold it's been. We have 4 down to Fogelsville today, so we have a fairly easy day. Might cut one at the end depending on what time the snow starts and if the roads start getting pretty dicey or not. So we'll see how it goes, but boy oh boy, this winter is really doing a number on me mentally. No break. There's just been no break. As you can see, the snow in the backyard is just as deep as it was 2 weeks ago. This goes to show how cold it's been for how long, and it's been this way since the beginning of December. Actually, right when I started back on the water haul is when the temperatures tanked, and we've been in this pattern ever since. So, but I'm gonna try to be positive today, but if it goes sideways, just please bear with me. Things will get better when it warms up, but right now I'm just very depressed. So with that, we'll talk to you later on in the truck as we go through our day. All right, so we're heading up here to get our first one. We're getting all 4 of them today out of the Red Barn location unless something changes. And I have not been in here for a while. I'm not sure if I was even in here since we got the big snow. I can't remember for sure because I don't come up here much anymore. I'm usually doing the Tamaqua location or the Well in the Woods, and sometimes the Hazelton location. So I have not been up here for a while, but they say that this one's pretty icy, icier than some of the other ones, so we will see. Which one do I want to use? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I don't know which one I want to use. Oh, God. I think the first one because there's less ice at it for some reason, but now I gotta learn. You know what? I don't know that I even set up properly for it now. Ay, 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 ay. No, I didn't. You know, this stone pile here kind of has me. That's a little bit of grit, I guess, to take care of the ice. I didn't set up right to get at this one because, like I said, I haven't been here for a while. But I think this one's going to be the better one, I hope. Goodness gracious. Ugh, I'm feeling like a rookie right now. I'm splitting the difference. You know what? I don't know which one I want to go to anymore. Oh my God. I'm just going to loop the building and come back in. Totally discombobulated myself on that one because I didn't know where I wanted to go. The other one is icier, but it might still be the better one. I don't know. All right, so we're in loading. We're in loading station number 2 here. There's a little less ice over on this side, but I didn't set up properly for it the first time, which is why I looped around the building. And then when I looped around the building, I tried to go back into our old loading station, which is now loading station 2. But as you could see, look at all the ice there. And it goes all the way out past where the tractor parks. And this is because of all this cold weather. And I hit that crevice, and once I hit that crevice with the trailer, I tried to push it in. As soon as I tapped the brakes, it slid to the right and got off course there. So if I have to go into that one, I'm going to have to compensate and go in it at a different angle. But then that one didn't work, so I had to loop the building a second time to get back over to use this one. So pardon my French, but it was a real shit show on this first load getting hooked up and getting started. But we're finally started and we're loading, but what an ordeal. Like I said, I hadn't been in here for about a week and a half, and maybe even longer. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it was quite the ordeal. And this was one of my favorite places, but right now it is not. I wish I could go back up to the Tamaqua well and load up there, because that one's in good shape. This one is just a major iceberg. But it's one of our busier ones. More trucks use it, so hence more ice. See, now I almost fell there. Probably because I'm looking at the camera, not where I'm walking. But yeah, it's kind of a hazardous situation right now, and it was dicey just trying to get in to hook up. So, but anyway, it is super cold. My fingers are cold already. It's only about 8 degrees. You know, like I said, this weather is just ridiculous and really messing with my mind. But we're loading this first one up. We're gonna go back inside the building where it's warm and wait for it to finish up, and then we'll talk to you on the way down. All right, loading is completed, and we are making our way down the lane, down to 309, to my favorite right turn in the entire world. Maybe I shouldn't be so dramatic, but it is not a fun turn, and I don't know whether I should say this or not, but yesterday most of our worst fears came true for another driver with a different company. Came down this road, got down to the stop sign, waited till he thought it was clear, started making his right-hand turn as somebody came up over that knoll. Of course, he didn't see him, as I've showed you. When they're down in that little hole, you don't see them. And he came out, and that person went right underneath the back of the trailer. So, don't know whose fault it's going to be. Don't know the circumstances. I just know that it's a fear of ours coming out of here that something like that would happen. Yesterday it did. So now I'm a little more nervous than usual coming out of here because of that, but we should do all right, hopefully. Hopefully lightning doesn't strike the same place twice. But there's no alternative to get out of here. The other roads that we could take that would take us down to 895, they're little country lanes. They have small bridges that probably couldn't handle the weight of these trucks. So we can't go out that way. We have to go out this way. And it's just a hazardous intersection to come out of. So I gotta creep forward a little bit and see if anything's coming. See, now like I said, you don't see anything down in that hole. So now you start going, and once you commit, you kind of gotta go and hope nobody comes flying up over that knoll and goes under your trailer. And well, we got very fortunate that time, so nothing is even coming yet, so that's good. So now we climb up the Blue Mountain here, and of course, I don't know what all's rattling in this truck. I guess because it's so cold out, even though we got the heat on and the roads are getting bumpier, the dashboard's starting to rattle, the sun visor rattles at times, it vibrates, and like I said, somebody broke that fire extinguisher clip, and that hasn't been fixed yet, so that might make some noise. It's going to be a bit of a noisy environment today, so bear with me and bear with my attitude. I love this job. It is one of the best jobs in the world, one of the best employers that I've ever worked for, but under these extreme winter conditions, it's not fun. All right, so coming around these bends here by Hoffman's Garage, we're going to have the Jordan Creek on our right side, and I want you to take a look over there. You can see it through the trees now in the winter, how frozen it is. You can barely tell that that is even a creek. It is frozen almost completely over, snow covered, and that's how cold it's been this winter. The running streams have almost completely frozen over, like we were up in Canada somewhere. It's just been a crazy winter. And you'll be able to see it one more time down here before we go up the KOA hill. Trying to keep this truck from rattling too. I don't know, like I said, why everything is starting to rattle and vibrate in here. It was that sun visor. I can wedge something up in there if I can find something thick enough to try to keep that from vibrating. Right now I stick my fingers in there to quiet it down just a little bit. This bridge up here where we cross the creek one more time, you might be able to see it to the right. Again, it's completely frozen over. I mean, unless you're in a really swift current, every waterway, every lake, everything is pretty much completely frozen right now. So this has been a rough winter here on the East Coast. All right, so we're here with the first one. From what they tell me, we now have 3 active pumps again. Pump number 4, which had been down for the last 2 weeks, is back up and running. Pump number 1 was the one that was backed into back in October that they can't get parts for. So that one's out of commission yet, but we now have 3 pumps, 3 active pumps that we can use instead of just 2. And this freight hauler here got going at just about the same time that I came in here. Let's see. I hope he goes down far enough that I can do this flip here and get on the pad. Luckily, this truck turns a lot better than the other one, but where is he going? The release time was just perfect. He's going to go in probably 1, 2, or 3, and I'm going to have to sit and wait on him. Yep. Go figure. I'll go down the line here and turn around. Hopefully that'll give him time to readjust himself, and then I can get past him again. Normally with this truck I wouldn't come this far down to do my flip, but it looks like they're going to open their doors. That worked out pretty good. A little bit longer of a segment than I had expected it to be. So we're going to go on to unload station number 3. Hopefully we're not one at a time. Although maybe that'll be a good thing today, I don't know. I don't know if delays down here will be a good thing or a bad thing. All right, we're in. All right, so load number 1 is delivered down here in Fogelsville. I couldn't talk to you outside because there were 2 other drivers there. One had left, but the other one was there the whole time until I was finished. We both kind of finished up at the same time, so runny nose now because of the cold weather. So I didn't get a chance to talk to you there, so we're talking to you now, but change of plans now. I was supposed to do 4 of them down here, which is very rare. I never ever get an easy day where I get 4 Fogelsvilles, and every time I get scheduled for one, plans change. So now we have to go to Tamaqua Well and take one up to Hazelton, and then do 3 more out of the Hazelton Well to the Hazelton plant. Alright, so we made our way up here to what's known as South Tamaqua. It's a little village. Makes it sound like it's a big metropolitan area because you got Tamaqua up the road and you've got South Tamaqua. But it's only a little village. Just kind of funny when you think about it. Well, we're coming up on the turn that we take to go back there, and we're going to see if anybody's going to mess us up. Especially with the snow piled up on the corners, it tightens up the turn a little bit, and if we have a car there, and makes it worse. So let's see what happens. Now the light's red, so normally if nothing's there, I can make the turn right out of this lane, but if somebody's there, then I have to cheat left. And sometimes bigly, because they come right up to the corner so they can see to make the right turn on red. There is supposed to be a stop line here. It's long since disappeared, but nobody stops back far enough to let us make this turn. So, but nobody was here. And I gotta say, I think I mentioned it when I was leaving the other Red Barn location, how I had wished I had Tamaqua loading today because that place is so icy, and I kind of got my wish, except that I'm not going to go back down to Fogelsville with it. I'm going to go up to Hazelton with it. So we got to go through Tamaqua and then up through Hometown and the Mile Hill and get up top there. And then I didn't think about it until I was talking to our other driver, who's probably still up here loading. Even if it snows, I'm not going to be climbing that hill because the next few are going to come out of the Hazelton wells, so I won't be climbing that big hill. I'll only have to come down it later on at the end of the day, which can be slick, but hopefully by then the PennDOT trucks would be out salting it. And who knows, it may not even snow, or it may start later than what they're thinking, but they said after 1, 2 o'clock this afternoon is when we could start seeing the snow, so we'll see. But other than that, it'll be colder up there than it is down here. Right now the truck says 26. I shave 4 off of it. It's probably 22. When I get up here and I start loading, I'll check my backyard thermometer and see what it actually is. I truly believe that this truck reads much warmer than what the actual temperature is. Not everything is accurate. My Jeep is very accurate, but not all vehicles are accurate, and I don't think this one is. Anyway, I guess we'll just try to talk to you the rest of the way in here. Not sure what there actually is to talk about, but just gonna see if that guy's still in here loading, and he should be. He's got an 8, so it takes a half hour to load an 8, and I last talked to him at the bottom of the Blue Mountain, and it probably only took me about 15 minutes to get here, so he's probably still here loading. Which isn't so bad. I mean, if I only have to wait 15 minutes for him, that's not bad. And then I'll only be taking 1 out of here, so yeah, there he is now. Looks like he might be done. No, he's not done yet. Nope, he's not done yet. The hose is still hooked up. We'll swing ourselves in here and kind of get set up behind him. We'll see where he's at in the loading process, BS with him a little bit, and then we'll get on there and we'll talk to you a little bit more as we're loading. Alright, so we're here loading now. The other guy left. We're on the pad loading up, and actually it is not too bad. Temperature on the truck was pretty close to what I have in my backyard. It's 28 degrees. I don't remember what I told you, if I said it was 28, 27, 25, whatever, but the temperature is actually, it moderated quickly, because when I went to work this morning, it was 8 in my backyard and it was 4 down at our shop. So temperature rose up pretty quick. Now, that light snow or snow activity that I was talking about has already made it to the Susquehanna River and is moving across the state from west to east. So I don't know how many loads we're going to get before the snowflakes start flying, and I don't know if the roads are going to get bad or not. Depends on how heavy it snows. But that's coming in, and that ushers in a real Arctic blast. This weekend's going to be pretty rough. Tomorrow, temperatures are going to struggle to even get to 10. We may stay in the single digits all day long tomorrow, and then they're talking about winds as high as 55 miles per hour. 25 to 35 sustained and 55 mile an hour gusts. So tomorrow is going to be flat out brutal. Glad I'm not working, but but it's not going to be a fun day. All right, so doing the first pull out of its level all the way from the well to Tamaqua, and we got this first pull here where we go up the Hometown Hill, as it's known. Not a very steep hill until you get up to the very top, then it picks up a little grade, but you got the traffic light up at the top where 54 crosses over, and then that's known as Hometown. Tamaqua address, but village of Hometown. And then beyond there, then you climb up the Mile Hill. So you go from Tamaqua, which is about 800 feet in elevation, up to McAdoo, which is close to 1,800 feet in elevation. Almost a 1,000-foot elevation climb from Tamaqua up here to the top of the Mile Hill where you get on Interstate 81. And that's why a lot of times up in McAdoo and Hazelton, it'll snow in borderline type systems, and it will rain in Tamaqua. As soon as you start climbing up this hill, you get to Hometown, you start seeing snow on the grass. It'll be raining, straight rain in Tamaqua. You come up here, it might be some snow on the grass, road's wet. Get up the top of the Mile Hill, and it becomes a winter wonderland where everything is white. But like I said, that's in marginal temperatures, marginal storms. It'll be 35 in Tamaqua. It'll be 28, 29, 30 up there in McAdoo and Hazelton. So hence the rain-snow line sits somewhere in the elevation here between Tamaqua and McAdoo. So, of course, this is a light that we got red that I wish we would have held a green on, but sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Now let's see, that side road's got to go first over there. That would have been the old 309. We used to come up the mountain here, and then it jogged off to the left there where those cars are coming out, and then it came out up further by the Italian restaurant before you get to Walmart. And they realigned it and widened it, so they made a straight shot up here through probably the woods back in those days, and so this is the alignment that we have today. It's a little tough getting started on there because you're on the grade, but I would have liked to have straight rolled up through here. I mean, a lot of times they'll get the Walmart light red, but it would have been nice to hold green on that one so we didn't have to start on the grade. But all right, so we're up here unloading the first one, and already it didn't go without a little bit of a problem. I couldn't get the pump to start, but our other driver had showed me that the bleeder valve sometimes freezes up and won't allow it to ramp up and start the unload process. So I had to go back on the other side of the fence, pull the heat sleeve off, and hit it with a torch and thaw it out. And then it started up, and now we're unloading. Now I hope I don't have to do that on every load, because it just add insult to injury with my feelings about cold weather and some of the things I had mentioned this morning about being depressed and upset and frustrated and everything else with our weather pattern that we've been in for like what seems like the whole winter, and how it affects our job and everything else. So hopefully that was a one and done thing and it stays thawed out from this point on, but we'll see when I come here with the next one. And it has started snowing very lightly. I don't know if the camera's picking it up yet, but there is some snow flurries, light snow flurries type of deal falling right now. So it is kind of starting, and we'll see if it picks up in intensity throughout the day. All right, here we are again at the Hazelton well. You guys saw this in the beginning of the week. We are back here again end of the week. Actually, we were here all day Monday, part of Tuesday, part of Wednesday. We were not here yesterday, Thursday, but now we're back here again on Friday, and we actually weren't scheduled to be here, but got changed up and sent here. So, like I said, we got 3 of them out of here, unless this snow picks up in intensity and starts whitening up the ground, because then it's going to be tough getting up this hill to get in here and everything else. So we'll see what happens. We are not forced to run in the snow. It's up to us. And if road conditions get slick and I can't get started up hills, or can't get going on a hill, or can't pull a hill, then we're going to call it. But maybe it'll just stay light. Maybe it'll just stay flurries and we won't have much of a problem. All right, loading her up here in Hazelton. Snow seems like it's starting to pick up just a little bit. Getting a little bit heavier. I can see haze in the mountains. So it's not so much flurries anymore, but a full-on light snow. And we just got a memo, first one of the winter, even though it's been as cold as it is, this weekend going to be exceptionally cold. Make sure that make sure trucks are topped off with fuel at end of shift, and we added diesel treatment to them, because that's just how cold they want it this weekend. The boss made sure he wants everybody to put diesel treatment in so we don't have any gelling issues over the weekend. So, all right, so we're loading, rolling. We're almost out the end of this back road that takes us back to the loading location. They get onto 81 here. Let's see what we got. Okay, this light should turn green fairly soon, because those people are making left, and there we go. So we gotta get on 81 south here, and we only go one exit, and then jump off and go into Humboldt Industrial Park. So we can turn these pretty quick. So hopefully that check valve didn't refreeze, and I got to go back in there with the torch and thaw it out again. That's the first time all winter I've used a torch. And I was taught the trick about using the alcohol on truck valves and truck caps. I haven't had to use a torch all winter like some of the other drivers do that don't use the alcohol. But today I actually had to use the torch on there to thaw that check valve out. And that's on customers' equipment, not ours. Just this kind of weather, that kind of stuff happens. Now, I don't know if the camera is picking up this snow or not, but I see it starting to wisp around on the road a little bit as the traffic drives by, and there is a bit of haze on hillsides out in the distance. Very fine flakes, but the intensity has picked up to where it is truly a light snow and not just a flurry. So I don't know what these roads are going to get like as the day goes on and this snow continues, probably, because I looked at radar, it's snowing all the way back to Ohio. Some places heavier than others, but it is snowing all the way back to Ohio. So try and keep moving and get all 3 of these if we can. But see the snow wisping around on the freeway, so that means it is starting to, it's heavy enough to start sticking. So I don't know. Now, this guy's, we only got like a mile to go to the exit, but this guy's probably heavy and starting to slow down. We got a bigger motor and can keep on motoring, but I don't want to try to jump in front of him, and I might not make it, because I will slow down a little bit on this hill too. But I don't know. I'm so over this winter. It started early, and it just didn't want to break. Just 2 brief periods of a day here and then the 3 days there, but otherwise it has just been nonstop below normal. And I'm not the only one frustrated. Everybody's frustrated with it, but you know, this job, the cold weather really affects it. So it's really starting to get old really quick. All right, well, we're here unloading, and I don't know, you should be able to see the snow now, but you just get more and more frustrated. The parking lot is initially getting wet first. I guess the residual salt And this is what happened the other night when I was up here and we had gotten snow, is when it had first started snowing, it had gotten wet initially, and then the snow overcame the wet and started turning white, and then what was underneath the snow turned to ice, and then it became super slippery, because remember I was telling you that the tractor was wiggling around on the interstate a little bit because of how slippery it was. So hopefully we don't get to that point today. Hopefully maybe it just stays this light and it doesn't overcome the little bit of melting that's going on because of the previous salt treatments, and we'll be all right. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm telling you, I'm lost for words. This winter has really beat the crap out of me. It really has, physically and mentally. And I don't know how much more I can take. I really need to go for a week's vacation somewhere warm and just get away from it for a week. Maybe that'll make me feel better, and then when I come back, it'll maybe start moderating a little, and we won't have this brutal cold like we've had most of the winter so far. All right, well, somebody is here loading, and I guess we'll have to wait a few minutes. Like I said, at least it's not like the other wells where we have to wait 20 minutes to a half hour for somebody to load. This goes pretty quick, but I see a little accumulation on the icy areas on this dirt road. It didn't really stick into the dirt part itself, but wherever there's ice, you can see it's starting to get a little bit white. So I will have to wait for this guy, I guess. I don't know. It looked like he might have just backed on here, so he might just be starting. But in about 10 minutes or so, he should be done. So, yeah, he's loading right now. You can see the water dripping out of the hose, so he's loading. But we gotta wait a few minutes, and then we'll get on. All right, so the other guy's gone, and we're loading her up. Just doing the paperwork in there and using the restroom. I'm already half loaded, so like I said, this place goes real quick. So it's probably about 5 to 10 more minutes and we'll be buttoning her up and heading back down to deliver this one, and then we have one more after it. And so far so good with the roads. They haven't caved yet. As long as they don't cave, we'll keep running. So we will see. I got to show you, there's one turn that if it starts getting white and they don't salt it and get it down to wet, it's going to be fun, and I'd have to take it super slow to make sure that I don't jackknife. When we come back up here for the last one, if we do, I'll show you what I'm talking about. The road leans like totally downhill in the wrong way, and it would not be fun if I were to break my grip and have the back end of the tractor kick out on me, because we would just put her right into a jackknife. I'll show you that on the next load. Well, the snow has started to pick up in intensity here. It's actually, I've been here about 5 minutes, just started my pump, and the top of the trailer is already starting to get white. So I don't know, right now this parking lot is just wet, but if this keeps up, these roads are gonna cave, because it's more than just light pixie dust snow now. We're actually getting some bigger flakes, and snow has gotten heavier since I left the well, and the skies have gotten darker, and actually don't see the sun shining through the cloud deck anymore. So the clouds are heavier and thicker, the snow is picking up, and the flakes are getting bigger. So we got one more to do. Hopefully we can pull it off before these roads totally cave out and I have a problem getting around. All right, we just got off 81 North, and we're gonna turn out our back road to go to the well. This is the turn that I'm telling you about, that if it were snow covered, this would be a real dicey turn, because it aims downhill already, and you could jackknife real easy here. And of course I took it on yellow. That's the story of my life, is catching yellow arrows. But yeah, right now it was wet, thank goodness. That's one of the turns that would concern me, if these roads would start caving and getting wet, getting white and slick, is that turn, because of the way it faces. A lot of intersections usually are on more of a levels plane, even on a hill, but that one just pitches down to the right. So if you're making the left like I just did, and it was wet or white and snow covered, it would be real slick and possible jackknife situation. But we're holding our own here. Even this back road is just kind of wet right now. It is 27 degrees out, and there might be enough solar radiation getting through these clouds to keep these roads from actually getting snow covered. All right, loading up the last one. All the paperwork is done. Used the restroom. All we got to do is wait for it to finish up. Probably about 10 minutes because I was a little quicker in doing what I needed to do. But we're loading, and so far so good. We got all our loads today. I wasn't sure. It depended how it was going to snow, and you know, if we were going to pick up an inch or two of snow up here, and I was maybe going to cut one, but we ended up getting them all. So I don't know what it's going to be like when we finish unloading over there and head on down the hill, if it's going to start to accumulate or not. But so far the roads still are just kind of wet. The paved roads, you can see it's starting to stick to these dirt roads, but paved roads are still wet as of now. They may change. The big flakes falling now, so the bigger the flakes, the faster they accumulate, and they'll chill the ground down and whatever. So we'll see what happens, but they're coming down pretty good. There's a little bit of a breeze up here too, but we'll be done in a few minutes. Get on out of here, roll back down to the plant, and deliver this last one. Well, the tracks I made coming up the hill are halfway disappeared, so I mean, it's a light snow, but heavy enough to start hiding the tracks I made coming up in here just 15 minutes ago. So it should be sticking where it's cold enough to stick. As long as the roads stay wet for now, that's all I'm worried about. I mean, of course, there's other drivers out there that might have to deal with this on the main roads later, but and once I get down into Tamaqua, then it's mostly level ground, a couple of little hills, nothing major. So as long as they stay wet till I get down off this Hazelton Hill, then I don't care what it does. If it's white down there in Tamaqua, then it's white down there in Tamaqua. But up here, I just want to get off the hill. All right, so we're unloading the last one here. Still snowing, as you can see. Visibility's down, so it's coming down pretty good. It's light to almost borderline moderate. You look behind me, the road, the parking lot is still wet. It hasn't really gotten white yet. It's around the margins, along the curb and along the snowbanks, it's starting to creep out where it's a little colder, but so far things are still wet. It's quiet here though. Usually behind me there, those two silos, those are the plastic resin silos, and usually there's one or two trucks there unloading pellets for these guys to make bottles, but it's been quiet. There were a couple guys here on my first load that I delivered here, and they since left and nobody else came in behind them. So I don't know, they must have all they need for a little while, because usually there's always one truck loading here every time I come. So it's been quiet. Even the freight haulers, hasn't been a lot of freight going in and out. So kind of weird that we're running all this water everywhere, or what's usually our slow season is quite busy right now, but they aren't shipping a whole lot. I haven't seen too many van trailers going by me. Some days it's a steady parade of dry van loads going out of here, and not too many of those either. But anyway, we're gonna go sit back in the truck and stay warm until we're done with this one and head back down the hill. We got the orders and we must fuel the truck up at the end of our shift, keep them full at all times this weekend. So we will do what we were told, but I do that anyway. I always fuel end of shift for my partner and whoever might come out on the weekend. So I guess I gotta say too, I feel bad for our weekend guys, our part-timers that come out, because water runs 24/7. So those guys that are gonna come out tomorrow and Sunday, they're gonna face the brutal worst of this Arctic snap that's coming in here. Extreme cold warning was actually issued, which I can't remember the last time there was one of those around here. So I guess they want a high tomorrow for Tamaqua of 8 above. Just single digit high, with what they said was 15 to 25 mile an hour sustained winds with gusts up to 50. That's just going to be brutal. Wind chill tomorrow is going to be minus 20 when the worst of the winds are blowing in the gusts. So those guys are just going to flat out freeze. And some of our, like the Red Barn location is an extremely windy location. Up here where I'm sitting right now is an extremely windy location. So anybody that loads out of Red Barn and anybody who comes up here to Hazleton, they're going to freeze. It's going to be a rough 2 days for those guys. And I feel bad for them, but you know, it's what they do, I guess. And like I said, it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week operation, so there's weekend work. But most of us full-timers work Monday through Friday. The day shifters, the night shifters like to come out Sunday night through Thursday night. So part-timers are needed for Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday day shift. So those poor guys, they're going to have it rough. But anyway, we're going to finish up here, and then, like I said, we'll probably talk to you going down the hill somewhere along the way back to the fuel stop. All right, we're rolling through Tamaqua. I really wasn't going to turn the camera on until maybe I got to the fuel stop, or, you know, talk to you back at the yard. But just to show you how different the climate is up in Hazleton compared to here. The roads are damp, but not wet. And any car that has been sitting all afternoon barely has any snow on it. So while it has snowed a little bit down here, not nearly as much as what it was doing up there in Hazleton. And in the summer, the climate between here and Hazleton is very similar, but in the winter it is vastly different. And I'm only 15 miles from Hazleton. This town is 15 miles from Hazleton, but the climate is so different. It is much, much harsher up there in the winter months than it is here. And that's simply due to elevation. Elevation really plays a factor in Hazleton's climate. Now, I'm going to let this car out. I just hope they want to go right and not left, because they're not going to be able to see what's coming from the right because of that truck. I don't know which way they're going to go. I can't see if they have a right turn signal on or a left turn signal on. That they're going to go right. Okay. But anyway, now traffic is backed up with these lights for some reason. But anyway, we're in Tamaqua. Sitting here, the light's green, but for some reason we can't go. Somebody's probably making a left up there at the next light where there isn't a left turn lane, and that ties everything up. So all right, we'll talk to you later. All right, so we're parked. We got a spot, which isn't always easy to get on a Friday night because all the trucks are in for the most part, the coal buckets and everything else. We got a spot, but I'm not sure we're going to be able to plug it in. I don't know where all the extension cords are. There's a stand for extension cord where I'm plugged, but I don't see one, so I don't know if they're not out or if they're plugged into other trucks. But if I can't plug it in, I can't plug it in. But we're fueled up, filled up with DEF, and parked in a safe spot. And I don't know if anybody's going to run it until my night shift partner comes out Sunday night, but it's here ready for. I would like to plug it in if I could, but I don't know where the cords are. I'll go looking after I close out my paperwork and do my post trip. So all right, that's it for today. We'll talk to you in the next one.